Hey, good morning. It's Monday, the 9th of November, 2020. And many of you are on your way to work or you're at work. I'm sitting out doing it's 27 degrees outside, so this is my warm up thing. Uh, but a troubling thought has been percolating around for a while here. Um, we were all excited that the Supreme Court nominee was who she was, and that it changed the balance of the court from into a more Second Amendment friendly mix. Um, and then with this presidential election now pretty much being over, reality start to sink in, and I start asking a couple questions. I had to go back to civics, right? Um, and so my question ends up being, what happens when, it's not if, but when the Supreme Court rules that our right to keep and bear arms, our right to have firearms outside the home, is a constitutional right and cannot be infringed without strict scrutiny? Now, that would have the effect pretty much to destroy all anti-gun laws in states like New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, California, Hawaii, and so forth. Um, and I thought, well, wait a minute. The Supreme Court has no enforcement capability. All enforcement resides with the person who has all the guns, and that's the executive branch, the President of the United States, through whoever his Attorney General will be. Now, that means, given how rapidly Biden and Harris are against the Second Amendment, especially having civilians armed with anything, especially out in public, it is probable that he could say to his Attorney General, "Phooey on that. Do not enforce that Supreme Court ruling." Now, there is no higher court to go to. There is no higher enforcement to go to. And what that would mean is that armed citizens would need to then engage in armed civil disobedience with the specific goal of forcing the state to use deadly force against them. That's kind of how I see that getting ready to go. If the President of the United States directs the Attorney General to not enforce a Supreme Court ruling, and it's happened in the past, by the way. I mean, this isn't something, doesn't happen a lot. Lincoln, for example, said "Phooey on that," and he maintained the abolishment or the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus, for example. But it is totally possible that this president and his vice president would say, "We're not going to enforce that. We're not going to force the states to abolish all of their anti-gun laws," which would then leave the states free to continue to arrest and punish citizens for a right that the Supreme Court has already said is theirs. This sets the stage for armed conflict between the state, and the state meaning the state like California, or municipalities, and armed citizens. I easily can see caravans and buses full of armed civilians roving from one place to another, going into jurisdictions and saying, "Now, we're here. It is our right to be here," right? And I think Bundy Ranch on steroids. Think that. Um, I, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that the president says to the states, because the president is sworn to uphold the Constitution, I hope he doesn't say, and his vice president say, well, that's an illegitimate court anyway, therefore we don't have to do anything. I mean, if that conversation comes out of his mouth and or her mouth, then I think the country is in deep kimchi. Deep kimchi. I'm fortunate. I live in the free state of Idaho, and there are other free states like Idaho, and more coming. Bloomberg could not affect Texas, so I think Texas is going to be a stronger bulwark. This is all about raw power, or would be power, to keep civilians disarmed so that the rowdy groups, which is the same as the gangs of New York, if you go back in the creation of the Sullivan Act in New York, where only the bad guys could get permits for guns, that could happen. That could happen. And the reason is they don't want regular civilians to be able to be out in public and defend themselves en masse against these roving bands of violent, property destroying, neighborhood invading people. And because if we could do that, then their little minions can't do what they're doing. So I'm concerned now. I'm concerned because I don't trust this person. I don't trust Biden and Harris, and I do anticipate that they would much rather protect their electoral college votes in New York and California than worry about the constitutional rights of the Second Amendment community in this country. So give that some thought. Go have your own cup of coffee. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. I caution you to be careful in what you say, because if your emotions are running a little high, don't say stupid stuff. Just don't say stupid stuff, but be thoughtful in what your thoughts are. So with that, as always, thanks for watching, and carry on.